Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Magic the Gathering. Unfortunately, we will not be keeping with the promises that we made the other episode and play Lausanne. Instead, we will be making something new. Now, of course, we will still be staying in Historic Brawl, but I feel like it's important. Very, very important to remember that, well, how do I say this? It's important to have a good collection of things. I would be okay in the future with potentially, well, I would be okay with potentially going back to Lausanne in the future, but for now, I want to expand upon my commander decks, and I want to have a collection of such things. So, before I go back and play what I've already made, and unfortunately haven't recorded, I believe, I I want to I want to make more. I want to have more in my collection, and I want to, I guess, start making a historic brawl like series where we start playing more and more historic brawl as time goes on. Of course, we will still be doing other things, like I was thinking we could make an alchemy deck to try and rank with, or a historic deck, or whatever we can go into ranked for with Gale, and have the Gale series trying to hit mythic with Gale as the seasons go by. But until then, we will stick with what we know works enough and just make commander decks. So, let's get working. I know for a fact that I want this commander deck to be Demir, or for those uninitiated, blue black. Of course, there's a really, really great amount of options, and I'm not favorable to make my commander a planeswalker. I don't have enough support for planeswalkers right now in my collection, and so I know that it won't necessarily be the best. But with the cards that we can make now, like the Scarab God, or the cards that we have, like Katos, we might be able to do something fun. I know that I don't want John as my commander. I spoke a lot about the other day, or excuse me, I spoke a lot the other day about how important it is to remember that you're building your deck around your commander and not vice versa. So if I'm playing Satoru and I'm running creatures of 3 mana or less and I'm constantly cheating them in with a 4 mana ability, then I'm not playing around my commander. I'm playing uniquely unusual. If I play Atris Oracle of Half Truths, as funny as it would be to continually slam card advantage, I can't build a deck around that. I could try, actually. I have a way that I think I could do it, but that would be gimmicky and with a single card. I'm thinking something more of Satoru, where everything under 3 mana is like a spell, removal, counterspell, and such, and everything above 3 mana is some sort of cheaty, I don't know, Jin-Gitaxias, Katos, Gyruda, Xanathar, and so on and so forth. That's a deck that we can do, but I'm scared that we might, excuse my language, be put into what is known as Hell Queue. I vaguely spoke about something like this a while ago. Well, not a while ago, it was the other day. And that was, well, it explained how when you pick Cradle of Baldur's Gate, you'll be put in an assumedly. Excuse me if you can see my music in the top left. I'll explain that later. But if I pick Cradle as my commander, I'll be put in a casual like queue. But let's say I put something more competitive, something that a lot of people have run or are running, like actually Krenko. That puts me in a bad queue, or a good queue, depending on how you see it, where people are constantly trying to win absolutely everything. Where rather than playing casually, they're there to win. And that's not a queue that I want to experience. Not yet. And as I would love to play Runa, but I don't have enough cards of that type crafted. So I'd also am on a budget, as you can see. That you know what? We're calling this the Budget Commander series. But let's see. Lazav enters the battlefield. Surveil 1 becomes his copy. Target creature in your graveyard with mana value X, except its name is Lazav. Alright, so this is a self-milled deck about kind of cheating things into play, I guess. Not a fan. Ludwig. Legendary blue-black. In addition to its other types, put a number of 1/1 counters on Olag equal to the amount of... I mean, this is just an add-on for Dimir Beatdown, in all honesty. So, not my vibe. I would not mind crafting an Ashiok to put into this deck. Because Ashiok, or at least this Ashiok, is pretty good. So let's see. You know what? I think I will. And I think I'm going to get the importance in this deck before I forget about them. Like, Rogue Class. That one will be important. Toxrill. That one will also... You know what? I might just take off the craft and put them in normally. Because there are some really, really good cards that I already have that I kind of want in this deck. Like, I know I said 3 or less creatures in terms of mana wouldn't necessarily be the best, but Silver Fur Master kind of makes... Whew, it makes it a lot better. And Soaring Thought Thief, that one is pretty good too. Snooping Newsy, not nearly as good. If it had Death Touch, maybe that would be a contender. Atris, I could John and Gyruda. Which they will not be my companion. Katos, Nightmare Muse, Xanathar. And now we put on the craft. Contraband King. I have not seen this. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. That sounds like a pretty good card for Dimir artifacts. And speaking of... That's not an artifact. Huh. Oh. Corpse Cobble is not an artifact, which is weird. I thought it would be. Cunning Night Bonder. That might be pretty good for a flash deck, but that's my favorite thing about Dimir right now. Dimir is flexible. I'm tempted, but as I was saying, Dimir is flexible. Dimir can realistically be whatever you want it to be. Whenever you discard a card, you may pay 1. Oh, that's really good for Connive decks, actually. I'm surprised I have not seen more of these things, and honestly, it might be because they're very good. I still do not have Tainted Indulgence, my apologies. I also do not have Thought Erasure, my apologies. But there are other things that I need to get right now. Tombbound Lich enters the battlefield, it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and... Well, I mean, it has Death Touch. Connive and Concoct. Huh. I know sometime soon we'll find a card that is an instant add for this deck. Just give it a second or two. See, Enter the God Eternals. Pretty good card. I'm... Now you're probably gonna ask, why didn't you add it? And that's because I didn't want to craft it just yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, so that goes here. And now let's look for creatures of 0, 1, 2 power, or not power, but mana. Let's click on creatures specifically. And Prowler's pretty good, believe it or not. Dragonborn Looter is 1 mana in Alchemy. I thought it was 2. Huh. Not feeling like it. No. Expendable Lackey. Hypnotic Grifter. Let's get Lantern Bearer in this, because that's a 1/1 flying creature that we can shove back into our hand, and if it happens to die, then we can give something else flying. Like a bomb. Well, a metaphorical bomb, excuse me. Throw in a Raven, throw in a Wind Robber for the Rogue, throw in a Ninjutsu. Throw in another evasive creature. Throw in... Throw in Guild Thief? No. Let's see. What should we have in? I'm thinking like cheap creatures that could easily win us the game and such. Or not win us the game, excuse me, that can't necessarily be dealt with. Like Storm Chaser Drake. When they target it, I draw a card. Of course, it'll probably be dead, but it's a flying 2-mana 2/1. So they're gonna have to be scared about it for a little bit. The Modern Age is pretty scary. But Towering Wave Mystic wants to be blocked, and that's the first issue that we run into with that card. Because if it hits something, they mill for that amount. So they want to block so they don't mill too. Or by contrast, this goes from a pretty bad card to a pretty fine card. Because it's a 1/3 2-mana. People might be like, oh, it's a 1/3, what is it gonna do? It has Sleight of Hand, it can't do anything. It swings in for 1, and then I ninjutsu out like Katos or Toxrill or Xanathar, and they're like, oh no. For like free. Free, of course. Cheated mana costs. But I'm thinking about this Invoker. I'm sure it won't be good in this deck. You want Team Allison and Wyvandi. You get Zarya. They're both really, really good cards. And this Lifelink Haste to 1 mana. If it were Death Touch Haste, it would be amazing. Of course, Concealing Curtains, my favorite card that feels like it cheats. Hmm. I Witch, of course, we don't get a sideboard for that. Okibo Reckoner Raid for the menace and the ping for damages. Sanatorium Skeleton to continually have something. Shambling Ghasts so that they can't really do well in blocking. Thieves Guild Enforcer because we'll have a good amount of rogues. Speaking of rogues, Crooked Custodian, a pretty fine card. A Ninjutsu, that's pretty good. Grim Wanderer, just in case. Now this is gonna be the weird one. This is gonna be the odd one out here. Mostly because Grim Wanderer is only here for when they do block, and then I can play a 5/3 on turn 2. And they go, oh my gosh, how? It's the one off card that plays against what we're playing to make them confused. Excuse me. I have food. And I'm pretty sure you were able to understand that. I apologize for eating in the middle of a recording, but I don't plan out my recordings, and I'm pretty sure you can tell that it's my biggest folly. But for now, we'll try and make use out of it. I am having pepper steak. It's like a steak coated in some sort of savory sauce with rice. What do you have? If you're eating something, type it down in the comments section. Or if you're planning on eating something, type also that down in the comments section. I'm interested to see the responses that we might get from that. I'm interested to see the type of food that you are eating. Not out of any other reason but curiosity. We're given a very few amount of things for planeswalkers. I have one mythic rare and I kind of want to save on to that, so I wish some of these were rare instead, but I suppose we'll get Ashiok. It's always been on my craft list. Take out Planeswalker and just do instant and sorcery. Brazen Borrower, just so that we can have a flyer and a bouncer. Oh my gosh. We forgot about counterspells. Let's make our counterspells. Well, honestly, I don't think we'd need many counterspells. Let's still get some, just to be prepared. But I don't think this is a deck that will be utilizing counterspells actively, as I'm throwing in more and more counterspells. Even the score. Up to one creature gets -2, amass 2. Honestly, underrated. Depth to the Kami, let's fill out our 3 drops a little bit more. Let's get some creature recursion just in case. More removal. More removal. More removal that can be foretold this time. Creature recursion and power removal. And that's about that. Now we fill out the rest of our slots with what people would consider bombs. So let's take that out. 5, 6, 7. Even take out 5. I don't think we need 5 mana things. And let's make it specifically creatures. So Air Cult Elemental, pretty good. All-Seeing Arbiter, also pretty good. Kiari, Twilight Sky, pretty amazing. Baleful Beholder, do we really? No. No. That's a filler card. We don't need to fill right now. Just the battlefield, each opponent creates a 1/1 creatures you control. You know, I think that might be a pretty good cheat onto the battlefield type thing. Massacre Worm, I know I need that. There it is. Hourglass Coven as well. Ancient Brass Dragon. Some of you might be asking, why don't you throw in an Ancient Silver Dragon? I simply don't own it. And I believe that's it. We are the mere beatdown ninja. Yeah, I know my sideboard is empty. I don't have much learned. So, now that our ninja cheat deck is finished, this time, let's not forget the most important thing. Customization. Now people will tell you, customization is not a necessity, it doesn't give you any bonuses. If we had the proper customization, we wouldn't have lost to that Boros Enchanter deck that we played against the last episode. That's all I'm saying. Look at how happy he is. That's me. No! Man, it must be intense watching someone as silly as me try and traverse the menus. And just like that, we fixed our mistake immediately. Now it's time to take this deck into an actual place to play it. Now we have 3 decks for Commander. Isn't that awesome? Now that we're in queue. Oh, I get to talk about why you might have saw my music, but why you can't hear my music. To keep it short, the past 2 videos that I've posted, or rather now the past 3, have been copyrighted. Copyright striked. Of course, it doesn't go to my channel as a copyright strike bad YouTube moment, but what it does do is it makes it hard for me to view this with importance. I was hoping to be able to play and listen to my music and show it to everyone while also playing Magic the Gathering Arena, being stalled out by Mutt 1992 while listening to some pretty good jammers. But I can't anymore. So why am I still listening to music? I get, admittedly, a little too anxious when I record. I am like, oh, there is silence, oh, I took a moment to eat, oh, I did this, or oh, I did that, or oh, you might be able to hear my fan right now. And all of that kind of bundles up into one big bubble of oh gosh, oh frick. So I put on music in hopes to alleviate it. Relatively okay music, not the best, but fine music. And I got tired of that Final Fantasy 15 music, so I decided to try something new, something hopefully not copyrighted. It was. Moved on. Learned. Tried to make something hopefully not copyrighted. It was. Moved on. Honestly, I. Doesn't feel good looking at something and seeing copyright claim. Like, I get that I don't make money off of this, but it just feels bad. And that's kind of where I stand. I don't want to feel bad while looking at it, so I'd rather just listen to my music and have my anxieties saved, not have to worry about it. And in doing so, I get to listen to my awesome music that I like while being able to record a video for you all. Even though, unfortunately, in this video, it seems our first game will be a rope. Some of you might ask, what is a rope? This. Of course, you could easily classify it as an AFK, but rope is much more of a funnier term, and rope basically means when you waste all of the time on the clock and either just simply concede, pass the turn, or play a card. It seems, unfortunately, Mutt1992 got up and went to do something else before his queue popped, and took a little bit too long. But at least we got to play one black spell and get a victory, putting us a little bit closer to that one pack that will open at the end of the video. Who knows, it might be more than one. There's some pretty good gold to get out of today. And we're playing up against a Golgari poison deck? I mean, I suppose I'm fine with that. And then we pass Prio because we have a turn 1, we have a turn 2, we have a turn 3. Of course, that's all assuming that we don't even get black mana, which we probably won't in all reality, considering that this is Historic Brawl, and I forgot the most important thing. Mana rocks. And so we'll swing for 1, we'll have something that'll draw us a card if they kill it. And we have something that could very well block one of those two things. Unfortunately, they will probably create the tap treasure token because ramping is the most important thing in Commander. But I'm not going to go back now and try and make additions to this deck, cut it out. Gosh. Alright, so I'm going to hold back. Not play a land because I don't have a land. I really forgot to manage my lands in this deck. And none of you mentioned it to me. Of course, in post-production, everyone will type in the comments section, and yeah, that's definitely going to be that. I could concede, but after this turn, if I don't draw land, I will concede. And that's game. So thank you all for showing up to the video. It was very awesome to film this, and I'm honestly surprised. That's what we in the business call a joke. I'm going to take a moment to add things to my deck. And I am going to make sure that we have mana rocks, land fixing, and that I have actually good music to play. I will be right back. Welcome back, everyone, and I know it might be just a blink of an eye that I was gone for. Just a blink of an eye from when my bad quality turned into something better, something audible, and something not actively eating steak. But for me, it's been 15 minutes. I had enough time to get myself some water. I had enough time to message my significant other, and I certainly had enough time to fix up my deck. And now with my deck fixed, I thoroughly do feel like we might be in the bad queue. Because Muldratha is a card very, very, very rarely seen. But, like heroes, we will keep this hand. And even if we lose, we're the ones playing our ninjas. I'll play that. Gain 1 life. Will be equal. Turn 2, he already has potential for Sultai colors. And is, excuse me, that was my Discord, seemingly ramping. And so on our turn, we will Silver Fur Master no ninjutsu. See if it goes through, if he's gonna 1-mana counterspell us. And it seems like he will just be drawing a card. That's okay. I guess he just really wanted to draw a card this turn. Now he has access to Sultai colors, but I'm not necessarily too scared of that, I'm gonna be honest. So let's just punch him really hard. Take stuff from him because we're rogues. Scour the laboratory. And he's... I'm confused. I'm confused what the goal might be, but in all honesty, I might simply be playing into his trap. I might... enchantments. Alright, so, I guess we play out the tapped land and then play... Oh, it's not tapped because we have 2 or more other lands! No! It's whatever. I'm used to having a bad amount of lands. Creatures you control gain menace. Do I want to give them menace and beat him up harder? Take more things? I could, or I could just... Let's read this. Whenever you cast a spell... Okay. So I'll just give menace. Full swing. Take 2 cards. And hopefully start putting brakes on whatever plans he had. We might have definitely done that, in all honesty. And Doomblade. Wonderful. So he's going to swing in for 1... Excuse me. Take off a counter from Soul Cipher board. And... that is why a rogue class is relatively strong. That is why any class can be considered strong. Because you can just put a stop to somebody's gas, to their machine, their engine, and you can stomp down on your gas for your engine, for your gas. And in terms of rogue class, had we not have played it, yes, first we hit a silly little instant But next we hit an important card, and I feel like seeing Go Shintai of Life's Origin solidifies the fact that we may or may not be in what is known as, excuse my language, Hell Q. So I go first. I will play my dual land. I gain 1 life. Next turn, I'm thinking about playing that tapped Port of Carfel, playing the Concealing Curtain to be a blocker. I would still rather this. And it's not like the planeswalkers that I have are able to be ninjutsu'd. So for now, we wait. Wonderful how his forests are shrines. Of course, they don't have the shrine keyword, but they look like shrines, and that's effort. Weaver of Harmony, other creatures you control get +1/+1. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's play that out. We have wonderful. Play out this land. If I want to cheat an Ancient Brash Dragon doesn't take anything from me. Not yet. So I'm gonna hold up my counterspell. And I am not going to attack. I want to keep my Satoru Umezawa. So if they play a land and they try and run out Go Shintai, I will be happy. And if they try and run out Go Shintai, I will be happy. But that could be unlikely. I like their cards, and there we go. Wonderful. Ran them directly into it. And so we're able to do more things. And perfect! That is a scoop and exactly what we needed. Sometimes the only thing that you need to survive in a terrible, terrible queue and the most competitive scene is a single counterspell. Because people playing the game to try and win will be counterspelled, look at the card that you counterspelled in their graveyard, and even though they can pull it out and pay it for a taxed cost, they will just concede. Because you're playing a blue deck. Because you're playing the blue ninja deck that is going to cheat out that Ancient Brash Dragon next turn, or, heaven forbid, play Ashiok. And Nicole Bolas, a good thing about being out of casual queue, I will say, is content. Because normally, let's say I were playing with Gale, you wouldn't see Bolas. You wouldn't see... Well, you have seen Go Shintai against Gale, but you wouldn't see the more competitive versions of that deck. But we're playing up against the Sinead with Nicole Bolas. We are getting the good games, the content games. Will we lose? Probably. I don't make good decks. But will that stop us? No. I think we slam out Kaito, swing in, and then draw a card. And wonderful, we have another counterspell, meaning that we have 2 counterspells packed in our pockets. Of course, they're relatively expensive. Both basically do the exact same thing, except Whirlwind Denial is a storm-like card. We play this. We could play John. We could play Saito. We could play a lot of other things. But honestly, if they have an island... Excuse me, that was my Discord. If they have an island, then that means that they slam out Nicole Bolas and might just start ramping continually, and I played into the wrong mindset. Sometimes as blue, that sort of thing happens, and it's fine. Will I still let myself fall into that trap, though? just in case he gets the blue, I can play at this neutral game forever. And honestly, I don't need the modern age. I said it. I said it. Of course, it might be nice to have a 2-3 flyer and to be able to draw and draw and draw and pick and choose what we keep. But I think we have a fine enough hand. We are playing at neutral. Down to the ground, absolutely nothing making us advantage. I have a 1-1 and a Planeswalker. Of course, it's a cheap Planeswalker that's only drawing me cards until here soon I get to activate its emblem. But I cannot go higher unless I want to ram my face into Nicol Bolas. You could try, of course, if I were Legend VD or Covert Go Blue, maybe I would just succumb to the content and just go forward. Or understand that I'm good enough to be able to be not affected by that. But unfortunately, we are Sunbro Gremlin, and I cannot guarantee that that one Nicol Bolas, that 4/4 flyer, that makes me discard one card and turns into a Planeswalker. I cannot guarantee that that card will not kill me. Now, let's see. It doesn't enter tapped, so let me play this. Choose black. Turn that into that. Swing. Deal 2 damage. And continue this slow burn mental. Continue this slow game. This is a grind game. And boom, boom, he's gonna play Bolas. Watch. Perfectly timed, perfectly calculated. If he passes the turn, I'm going to be embarrassed. No. I could play Gyruda. But we will continue. We will continue to go even. We will continue to stay lower to the ground. And we will make sure that we win in a silly, grindy way. And yes, if they try and remove Kaito, I will counterspell that before I counter Nicol Bolas. Because I have not been able to use his emblem and still have him on the... I think we just win if I counterspell that, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I had to think about it, but... I think we just slam Gyruda or Kyrie. Oh no! No! He's gonna hit Kaito for 1, and then we're gonna emblem and lose our Kaito. This is sad. So let's see. You know what? I suppose. And then we will go wider. Well, let's not do that. Let's actually do this, because we'll be hitting them with a 6/6 dragon that if they remove, we get benefits. I wish I could throw these into the graveyard. And play that again to get the mill effects. Slam in for 6. Have Kaito proc. This is why Kaito is amazing. Do we pull out? You know what? I think this is another star for the Hourglass Coven. I think this is another time where they pop off. And I think we're going to create skeleton tokens and burn them out slowly. And we are going to use Thousand-Faced Shadow next turn on Kyrie, and I know it's silly, but we will do so simply to copy our Hourglass Covens. And this is why I wasn't worried. This is why I held Counterspell up for so long. Of course, I could go hard, but I would never be able to guarantee that I can have this board. With the way that I played, I have undeniably guaranteed that this board is mine. And sometimes it's fine to play like that. It's fine to play muddy and dirty and down to the ground in the pits of fighting, rather than all posh and clean and trying to calculate each and every move, whether it's the best one or the worst one. Because sometimes you won't be able to tell. Now, if I swing in with my Kyrie, only Nicole Bolas could block, and I don't recommend that for anyone. Why does that get a +1? Token creature skeleton. Oh? What is that getting a +1 for? I have no clue. But let's see, if I slam this, that's... Okay. I'm thinking... Gosh. I don't have anything in my graveyard to bring back with that. Oh, I remember I want to use that. So let's swing this. Let's swing this. And let's swing that. I don't need burn. I don't really need burn. If they choose to trade with every... No, this is awesome. Because I get to use Thousand-Faced Shadow. I get to pull out a Zephyr Goal or something. Thousand-Faced Shadow makes a copy of a... You know, I should have swung with that one. But it makes a copy of this, tapped and attacking. Pretty awesome, if I would say so myself. And then I pull out this. And then I ninjutsu Thousand-Faced Shadow back to my hand to ensure its safety. Mill with Gyruda. And take whatever I please. Silly. And that's game. Because he was dead either way. So yeah, the power of Kaito Shizuki emblem. You might think it to be underrated because you could just keep getting card advantage. Don't worry, I was ignorant like that too once. But as you see, all of us eventually begin to understand more and more of the game. Now, I think that this video has one more game in it before we cut it short or cut it down. And I hope that that last game really made up for the lack of quality the first half of this episode had. And of course, sheesh. You know, I think I have another game in me, I'm not gonna lie. But that at least confirms that this is undeniably in that queue. In that, oh gosh, oh frick queue of strong commanders. And if next game we get queued into a Miram, we might just cut the episode short. Because I do not want to ram my face into a dragon. Not with this deck. Not with this deck. Oh, and for the record, I realized something. To those who enjoy playing Miram, but don't enjoy the cues that you get because of it, you could Tiamat your commander. Ramp into Tiamat, pull out Miram, play Miram next turn, and have it be that. I have not seen Verizal. Not once. So you know what? We're gonna give this a shot. Just the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each mana spent to... Oh, so it's just a fractal! Oh, so it has to be a quadrings deck. That's awesome. I'm not favorable with the song that's playing in my ears, so if I play bad, blame that song. Oh, what? I have not seen so many of these cards. I feel like a new pack release. Or another snow permanent enters the battlefield. Scry 1 at the beginning of your upkeep if you control. Legendary 2020 black avatar with flying and indestructible. Sheesh. So I have to kill them before they have 10 permanents. That's not that hard. You know, it's not that hard. They already have 4. So they only need 6 more. If you control 10 or more permanents. Gosh. No! Not the flyer! This is a difficult game. But I think we will prevail. Even though... 4. Okay, only 4. Only 4. 5. 5. Ooh, we are on a timer, and I have not felt this pressured in a while. You know, drawing Marit Lage's Slumber might... That's, might just change your plans as commander, because, you know, it doesn't matter what that commander is, or what it does, or how it be, or what it do. Oh, Heraldic Banner is how it got the +1. Like, what matters, realistically, is that there is no way that I can stop Marit Large, and eventually I will just die to that. Now that was a smart block that I didn't think of, but next turn I have the Hourglass Coven, so I'm not... Yes! Yes, that land is in snow! We have another turn! We have another turn! Let's go! Oh. Oh no. Oh no. And that's gonna hurt a little bit. I don't really mind. Check it. Awesome. At the beginning of your upkeep, let's go for card discard. No attacks. Also, that Discord notification was also me. I apologize for being devious enough to do that to you. But we are inching closer to beating this Marit Large. It's close. 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 Of course, next turn they have to discard 2 cards, which puts us at a better place, but Marit Large makes sure that they get the cards that they want to get, which kind of makes it a little bit uncomfortable. What? Are they taking an extra turn? Okay. You know, they might only just need that extra turn. They might be that Simic player. Shaw. No. Discard those cards, silly man. And I will be choosing black again. Oh, so you saved that for that! Okay. Yeah, I honestly do think that that's game, because that's 2/6/6s. And that's a Seek. They have 7 snowland permanents. Or snow permanents, excuse me. Oh, gosh. These recent songs have not been good. I sincerely apologize. Yes! Yes! Not even close. Let's go. Never didn't have it. Never didn't have it. Ooh, baby. And that is what we call the comeback for the years, for decades to come. Thank you all for showing up to this amazing Commander video. We're going to open this pack, and it seems we got some pretty good cards. We got You Come to a River, which was balanced for alchemy, I suppose. Oh, that makes more sense. We got Kenku Artificer, which was also balanced for alchemy. Lapis Orb of Dragonkind. Oh, in alchemy it's... Oh, so in alchemy the Orbs of Dragonkind are infinitely better. And we have Gorian. That might be our next commander. But I will not promise like I did that one day I promised to Lorzen. Instead, I will thank you all for showing up. I hope you enjoyed the video, and the clutch comeback at the very, very end. Have a great day, friends. I'll see you tomorrow.